Well, we'll see how things get underway here as we'll introduce our two teams. NaVi, Atsal on Chenson, Nico on the Oracle, one of his signature heroes, so to speak. General, the big playmaker, he's going to be handling the Beastmaster.
This team is so young.
Well, got LGD, aggressive, one of the younger players on the team who's 24. This is a team more of veterans. If you look at some of their players who were quote-unquote retired from competitive play but brought back in, MMY 26. Banana, there's the, well, not quite old man, 29. He's not 30 yet.
I never trust any of the Chinese players when they say they're done.
You know, that's actually more a misrepresentation by the Western media, and like they don't actually say they're retiring. They say they're taking. Zhao Wei's never actually said I'm retiring. He said he's taking a break. Same thing was burning as well. It's like he's like I'm taking it. They don't actually use the word retirement.
Yeah. Western media.
You know, Western esports journalism.
Get on it.
Yeah. I don't know what's up there. Anyways, top rune. Here we go. Fight is brewing. And maybe get the bounty rune. The reflection on 4. He goes for the acid to try and secure this one. Then be forced to leap away.
Oh no! Take that. That is maybe the roughest thing that can happen to you as an alchemist player.
Not getting the bounty rune?
Getting the bounty rune, but having the skill.
Oh, he didn't get the bounty rune. Went to the. Oh, yeah, he did.
He did. He had to skill. Dude, it sucks. There's no way around it.
I mean, you don't get the bounty rune potentially with the Greevil's Greed.
Still.
Acid level 1's not too terrible. Like,
come on, dude.
You drop gold. Yeah, but you like just drop it on mid, and your mid lane's a lot easier.
Kind of, but you really want that bounty rune.
No.
With the.
No, I agree.
Oh, Shao 8. Be careful.
Fast.
Yeah,
I'm not the slightest bit squeamish.
He just straight up died, huh?
Okay.
That is the best possible time to pause. Just
Right
like reflect on your sins. That is maybe one of the odder I've seen. It's not even like they have frost arrows. They just kind of
right click.
Yeah, that was.
He's sitting on low regen, no ring of protection.
He had no levels. That was
no Kraken at this point, so
that
no
was
damage
way
block.
too over aggressive.
Okay. Does have a bit of a creep wave at his tower when he respawns, but still less than optimal.
I would even say suboptimal.
That Kunkka's. That's a cool Kunkka set. I like it.
You down with it?
I'm
what is it? Somebody said Kunkka's not a pirate. He's like an admiral, a commander.
Yes. You're saying this is not a pirate set though.
Yeah.
He looks like an admiral with this hat.
He's very regal. Don't disrespect him by calling him a pirate.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
My apologies go out to
Radiant's bottom tower
Kunkka
is under
and all the
attack.
Kunkka players out there.
Yes.
Alright, they get the D-Ward bottom 2 now, so this off lane for Zhao Wei looks rougher and rougher. He didn't get any XP, so this is...
Yeah, that was the...
sad times.
When I clicked on his hero, I expected him to maybe be like halfway to level 2 at least when he died. He actually just kind of died. And that is not the kind of start that you want.
It will be that style, just jungling it out for now, looking to find some early creeps. Kunkka, Banana, hovering around this middle lane. Making sure that he could potentially help maybe should he need it. Throwing torrents, but not landing. No real kill potential between the Alchemist and the Kunkka. Yeah.
Top, Terrorblade just having a free game so far like we expected. Nothing too big on either side is they're going to make the run at General with that first level of Poison Touch and the Reflection. Oh. But the Torrent misses and that might be enough for General to just kind of saunter away.
Yep. He's still doing okay here, has at least hit his level 2. Similar story, Zhao Wei, actually, well, not similar story, isn't level 2.
No, he has been.
Oh boy. He's going to get probably more than level 2 off of this big wave about to reach his tower. So.
I would like to see NaVi just dive him the tower.
Yeah, he's got frost arrows. If you can zone him away from this XP, that's definitely the play to make here. And actually, they're going to get the Fortune's End, so I think Zhao Wei has to actually back off. Yeah, Ditya.
You see, they're just running at him with the wave to make sure that he doesn't get anything. They're going to deny under the tower as well. Get rid of some creeps from him. Just make his life hard.
Sad time for Tidehunter. Does get level 3 though, so he can fall back a little, start perhaps stacking some camps and preparing himself for some catch-up farm in the jungle. On the laning stage, not seeing a huge amount of action just yet. Normally you see Artstyle putting a lot of pressure in this mid lane, but the main thing is you need the right creeps if you want to gank your lane for the Mirana. You almost need like an ensnare into like a centaur stun or something, or an ensnare into a thunderclap. You need some kind of setup for the Mirana arrow.
Yeah. Or he just needs enough creeps where 2 disable creeps would be enough, I think.
Yeah.
Either those golems would have been enough, but opting not to go for them, and he's going to be pretty disappointed to find in the bottom camp that it's simply just going to be more Wild Wings.
More tornadoes. And he seems content to farm for now. Maybe that's the call for NaVi. Get your fast levels and then we'll push.
Oh, look what he's doing!
Radiant's
So
middle
cool.
tower is under attack.
He's using the tornado to farm the other side of the map.
Oh, nice.
Deny potential stacks from the Alk.
Oh, that actually, that's something. Tunka's there at least to get XP in one of the CS.
Kind of... I don't think I've seen that before. Man, Artstyle just... The innovator himself.
The hallowed one. The Sultan of Swag. I need to learn that full spiel.
I've never... That's cool. That's just cool.
Yeah.
He's not going to deny the bounty rune, unfortunately, from this Alchemist, though.
So, back in mid lane. Hasn't... Iron Talon, not an everyday item you see for an Alch, but not huge change up. Nothing that game changing. And here come NaVi towards mid lane. Dendi has an invis rune and see Zhao Wei. They're going to slow him down first. Dendi does get hit by the Anchor Smash. Gets the double Starstorm off with the arrow. Going to be close. They need vision for at least another Purifying Flames. There's not enough damage, and now he's going to heal up after this one.
Oh, Zhao Wei gets double healed. Peace out about that.
Not bad. A decent chunk of HP.
That was an ambitious attempt.
Yeah, it was like a melee range arrow wasn't going to do all that much damage.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Artstyle smoked up.
Dire's
Unfortunately, though,
structures
Dendi doesn't
are
have the mana, though,
fortified.
to make this work. They're going to try anyways, though.
They get the ensnare, but the Centaur was too far away to follow it up. Dendi wanted to go for the Starstorm, but he's going to need to arrow most likely. The slow from the Purge. Dendi can't arrow with the Kunkka there in
Radiant's
front.
middle
Centaur
tower
stun
is
does
under
land.
attack.
Now the X on the Dendi doesn't get the outcome he was hoping for. Doesn't hit this double Starstorm, but with the Tester Face, Artstyle secures the Kunkka kill.
That was not
Radiant's
exactly
top
what they
tower
wanted, though.
is under attack.
And while that's going on, LGD recognize a lot of resources being invested there. They're pressuring top with Terrorblade.
Still, level 3 Beastmaster from General, not have the best laning phase. Hasn't been able to get too many creeps, and there's no stacks available for him as it has been stacking that Ancient Camp, which has now been blocked off by that ward, but overall better laning phase from despite feeding that first blood, and NaVi smoke kill. That was, like you said, a heavy
Radiant's
investment,
middle
and all you got
tower
was a
is
level
under
2
attack.
Kunkka out of it. That is not the prize that you wanted at the end of the day.
A lot of just small things kind of hurting now. Like having used so much mana and not killing the Tide meant they didn't have the arrow plus Starstorm for Dendi in the mid lane.
If maybe he gets a bounty room here, he's just blessed. Oh, godlike.
This guy's an out player.
It's the dream of every Alk player. Every single time you just walk to a rune, that's 3 times now, man.
Dendi will find a haste, which he's probably not too unhappy about.
Isn't that odd, though?
By the way,
Alk is just like
Artstyle
sweet, a bounty
again.
rune.
He's clearing out the Alk's jungle camp with the tornado.
What a beast.
And if he wants, he can just leave the creepy to block it. Alk relies on this farm quite a lot. The way you get that fast radiance comes from this. And it's just not going to be accessible.
Yeah.
He's leaving the creep up there.
And unfortunately, Banana just hasn't had time to stack because he's going around the map trying to make kills happen.
Oh, he's actually going to suicide creep the tower. It's like, poor Wild Wing. Artstyle, is that how you treat your kids?
That is brutal, man. Goes my hero. That Wild Wing did a lot. He got you like 4 creeps.
Yeah.
It is not a pleasant life to be a creep.
He's now at the top lane, though. He has the ideal trio of creeps to really go ganky and get active.
Tomato creep, lead with it.
Yeah. NaVi smoking up around mid. They've got level 7 Ditya Drow Ranger, so do push decently fast off of this. May even look to see TP in from that Drow to get involved, but for now they're just happy to leave Ditya in the bottom lane, bring everyone else towards top, and setting up for a potential kill on aggressive.
Yeah, give Ditya the solo XP. He can push down this tower by himself.
Oh, Sneeko, he's ready. Ready to go for this dive. Tide does have Ravage. Could TP in. Here's Tide. Watch out for that Ravage. I don't know if Navi will be expecting it, but they get the kill. Nice and quick. Zhao Wei has creeps to deal with. He may just die.
Double kill!
Without really getting off a good Ravage. Yeah, let's say. I was going to say he's going to die without the Ravage. He gets a Ravage off, but he may as well have not used it there.
Yeah.
There was no fight to take. Dendi going to be sent home, and now we can TP back out, so...
But no follow-up, like you said, that's possibly the worst possible result for GD. We talked about how important the Ravage was going to be in the previous game. We said he can't have a similar performance. Well, in the first game, he at least got 2 kills out of that first Ravage. This time, absolutely whiffs, gets nothing.
That is troubling news for LGD. Very similar poor start similar to last game. This is, in some ways, like what you see a lot with them, though. They go for these heavy team fight lineups with a big late game carry, or in this case, 2 big late game carries, and they struggle early game. They will be very hard to beat when it comes to pushing high ground, but this patch does not really favor these kind of drafts. We haven't seen them succeed.
And I think LGD right now, their style of playing, it just feels too slow. It feels like they're not playing at the pace that the other teams are. NaVi is exploiting that. They're getting aggressive all around the map. LGD simply just can't contend or keep up with that kind of pace. And I mean, right now, NaVi executing their game plan pretty well so far.
Yeah. Perhaps it becomes an all-in on Alchemist type game, but...
We talked about Roshan, and it is an early one.
Well, here comes LGD there in the neighborhood.
No Ravage, though. They've got to be careful about this.
And NaVi, they may recognize, okay, Roche isn't the best idea, or maybe they're going to decide they still can, but regardless, they can just step out of the Roche pit and not get caught. They're not worried about losing a team fight around this area. Nana, put out by the Purge. He's going to get chased down by the Sentry. Nastyle has the Hand of God. He'll heal up his creeps a little bit. Don't get that full heal anymore, and fortunately for him, he's going to lose his little army there. But
that is so much damage coming out of the Ditya Rado.
Jeez, that maybe Alchemist, even with the armlet just melting. Rana gets the last hit, gets credited for the kill.
I mean, what could have just been them giving up Roshan and pushing out the waves and taking advantage of maybe that minute of respite. They wasted completely, and instead they throw away their most important hero. And for their troubles, they also lose Banana, who is horribly underleveled.
Indeed. Ghost Ship if they want to try and team fight.
They need a lot of things right now.
Even when they get these ultimates like Ravage, Ghost Ship, they don't have that like reliable initiator. Kunkka can try walk in and get an X, but if he's the one running in to get that off, he's just going to die. He'll get gusted, he'll get burst down. There's no way you can expect your Kunkka to start off a team fight.
I'm not sure how team fights are supposed to go in general for them, just because... okay, so let's say in an ideal scenario, you walk in, you catch like 2 heroes with Ravage, because they have so many range heroes that it's going to be hard to get more than that. Well then, Seneko still has his ultimates. On top of that, you've got a Chen with both of his ulti and his mech. So you need burst damage as a follow-up, but that is the one thing LGD lack very sorely.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
NaVi, we'll see whether or not that potential team fight tears them at all, but like you said, very hard to pull off. And we're not even saying they can pull off with Kunkka still just level 5. Getting close to that level 6 mark, but mid lane where Ditya is kind of pushing by himself. Will get caught by an X-Torrent, but that's not really all too concerning for Ditya.
Oh, that is a lot of damage.
Similarly, Seneko though needs to be a bit careful. He took a decent chunk of damage himself as Tier 1 does go down. Yeah. I mean, they're pushing Tier 1s with just 2 heroes there. Chen shows up now, but...
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Got the satyr with the weird tongue beard.
Oh yeah. Tongue beard.
You know what I'm talking about though. Once you click the hero, completely makes sense, and as we can see, Dendi's gonna push that top wave.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
And Dendi can either join up with his team or even just keep pushing by himself. I don't even think NaVi necessarily need him in this mid lane.
I mean, what's gonna happen? They pop a Ravage on a Drow with Pegasus?
Yeah. Like you say, you can just Oracle save him and then back off. You've got Chen with the heals. What's Chen? Is that a mech? Yeah, it's a full mech.
Hardstyle Dota.
Just the classic hardstyle have 5-minute arcane boost and 12-minute item like mech full stack regardless of hero.
Alright, here comes Xiaoyi. He is getting bursted though.
And doesn't want to commit the Ravage just yet. The Grave will keep him alive now. Goes though, pretty good, but it's just gonna catch one. The mech is instantly there, and ultimately, the impact of that ultimate entirely negated.
Just gonna hit the back.
Yeah, we'll get a free Tier 2 tower. Ditya with the Dragon
Dyer's
Lance.
middle
That
tower
was so well
has
done by
fallen.
NaVi. They corralled Xiao 8. They made sure that he was nuked down, so he can't re-engage. Either he pops the Ravage right there in a really terrible position, or he just has to completely back and NaVi don't have to fear it anyways. And NaVi now in a position where pushing the pace, this maybe Alchemist desperately wants the Radiance before he fights.
That's not going to happen right now. He's going to be forced to fight Xiao Wei. In the Ravage, but he instantly gets pulled down so low on HP. And the sustain with the mech, the Hand of God, the Oracle, Purifying Flames is just going to continue to build up this push.
Yeah, Artstyle almost has his mech up, and more importantly, his ultimate is still available. They have so many different mana creeps.
There's no Metamorph too. TB's just said, I gotta go top, guys. What's the point of me coming to a fight as a melee carry with no items?
Yeah.
Can't actually contribute anything.
They are
Perhaps a reflection.
Pop the aura, so NaVi do want to push with this wave if they possibly can. He's just going to continue to pluck away at
Radiant's
the tower.
bottom tower is under attack.
B's just hoping he can get like a top tier 1 tower, and yeah, like you say, NaVi going to continue pushing. They've still got a decent couple of minutes on the Aegis. General's held on to the Necrobooks for now. Arrow will catch Xiao Wei. They commit to this one. They will not quite burst him down. Great comes just in time. The used as well, so
Doesn't land.
jumped the gun a bit.
Radiant's top tower
Didn't need
is
that
under
one to
attack.
save it, but now they're just going to focus those
Dire's
creeps and
structures
Necrobooks
are
onto
fortified.
the tower. Xiao Wei needs to TP in and hit a Ravage, but as soon as that
Dire's
TP
middle
comes, you
tower,
got to imagine
Radiant's top
NaVi
tower
can
has
back
fallen.
off reposition.
They still have the Hand of God, David.
Yeah, this is looking really
Dire's
bad
middle
for
barracks
LGD.
has fallen.
They get racked here.
Dire's middle
Aggressive
barracks
is just
has
top
fallen.
lane. He still doesn't have Metamorph. This is
Radiant's
5 seconds
top
away.
tower
He
is
couldn't
under
actually
attack.
fight.
Yeah, I think he honestly made the best possible decision. He said, well, there's no way that they're going to fight into that, especially not the Aegis Drow. Might as well just give it up, but as I say that, now that Drow has a full Hurricane Pike.
Well, and even with the Aegis now expiring, it's not like if you're LGD, you think, alright, Aegis is down, let's smoke up and take it. But no, what items have you actually got? You don't have a Blink on Tide. You don't have any items. You're out. Even if Out finishes a Radiance, he can't really teamfight just because he's got Radiance. He's still paper.
Yeah. I will say though, good news for LGD is that NaVi isn't getting a ton of levels. That is the
Okay.
one place where it's only about 2,000. That's not that bad. That's one team fight, and LGD are suddenly ahead in that category. And a lot of that is just because NaVi have had to 5-man so heavily. But I think NaVi are going to challenge LGD once again. Come on and take this team fight, and LGD will not oblige.
This is where there's tier 2 towers up, and you haven't
Radiant's
got Aegis.
bottom
Just take the
tower
outer
is
towers
under
and while
attack.
you wait for the outer
Radiant
towers, take map
structures
control,
are fortified.
wait for Roche to come back up.
Dire's
As it
top
stands,
tower is
Denzi, there we
under
go.
attack.
Aghanim Scepter complete. He's
Radiant's
often
bottom
farming
tower
and
is
pushing
under
lanes by
attack.
himself. This gives him faster farming and even some solo kill potential
Radiant's
now.
bottom tower has fallen. Dire's top
It
tower
may actually
has
force high
fallen.
ground when they see Hero's bottom. If anything, you want to force those TPs back. Make LGD and their high grounds.
What's the big hero here? The Out maybe doesn't have a TP? Oh, they need the
have to
Acid
sell
Cloud
something.
so bad.
Yeah, this is a really late TP back. There we go. He's gonna buy his Radiance, but I think maybe he's down. They're gonna go on Ditya Ra. An Oracle behind him to help him out. They're not gonna actually pull off the X. They just try and bait out the spell. Ditya Ra getting Dragon catches a lot. Ditya Ra gets hit by the ghost. The damage may be enough. It's gonna be close. Ditya Ra still being killed. I think he'll be just enough damage to bring him down.
Radiant's
Artstyle
bottom
now, the
tower
next
is
in
under
line. The
attack.
X is there. They can pull him back into the torrent. Artstyle invis up though. Is he actually going to get away? Artstyle. Look at him on
LGD.
it's the Artstyle effect. You see this guy doing something crazy and you're just like, what do I do? What do I do? Panic, panic.
They still got a good amount of damage, but that's what we were talking about, is that LGD favored this game where they can slow it down. More importantly, they killed the Drow Ranger, who heavily overestimated how much his team was going to be able to help him, as the mech and the Hand of God weren't used at maybe the best time to help him out, and now NaVi are going to have to completely reset here. Most likely going to have to wait for the next Aegis before they take another fight like that.
I feel like the Hurricane Pike wasn't necessary this early on. Normally, like, why just stick to Dragonlance into BKB? Even just go for a Manta or get a casual Yasha.
Yeah, I think the casual Yasha would have been
Core staff aspect doesn't really give you much. It's fine to upgrade it later, like when you have full other items, but
That's a huge investment. That's 3k gold.
I'm not sold on that.
Yeah. I saw it and I was like, okay. I was kind of happy to see it because it's not something you see every day, but at the same time, it doesn't really help out with damage dealing in MMY. It's just getting picked to pieces.
You can see his response to that teamfight was to immediately pick up an overclock, and he's thinking, grab a
Radiant's
BKB,
middle tower is under
push high
attack.
ground with BKB into Tide.
Yeah,
it's,
make life
it's
harder.
simple. Not rocket science, and perhaps next time it won't just be a BKB, but an Aegis as well as the Roche timer comes up. 48 seconds.
We'll take that.
NaVi wanted to be a bit patient, they can wait for it, but not necessarily
Dire's
their
bottom tower has fallen.
strong suit being patient. Artsel was still like pushing forward, while the rest of the team was like, no, we back off here.
Seneko had a Fate Seed DRL when the boat flew in. I think it was the boat that kind of put things over the top.
Yeah. I was thinking, I really couldn't tell if it was going to live or not, because there's so many, it's not just the Oracle healing. If you had the Chen Mech and Hand of God during Fortune's End, during the False Promise, it can be a huge amount of sustain for the Drow there.
Yeah. One concern right now for LGD is how poor their Tidehunter is, who does have a fair amount of levels, but at the same time, you'd really like to see the mech on this because we see what happens every single time is that Xiao 8 is put into these positions where he walks in, paints like he's going to ravage, but you can't do that without that mech. They simply just burst you down.
Yeah. And you try walk in, you get Scussed, you're going to take a lot of damage. They burst you down so fast that the Ravage comes out. It's not even about the crack and being able to get off the silence. You just die instantly.
Good news, though, for LGD is that their Alchemist is starting to pick up a heavy amount of farm. He's starting to get online, and Aggressive did the smart thing there. He gave up the racks, but he also starting to pull ahead. And NaVi might get one or two good chances at this before LGD finally start to utilize their lineup strength. Full Manta style now.
Not bad. TB coming online, but it's Ditya out very close to a BKB, and with Aegis, the next objective for NaVi, you have to decide where they want to contest this one. They've got pretty heavy team fight. Arrow catches Banana, then he flicks in, hits the double Starstorm, but Banana will be grave to keep him alive. Necrobooks not going to chase Banana there. They get pulled back to help secure Roche. Here comes the Acid Spray and the Alchemist, though. What can he do about this one? Arrow, catches MMY on the back line. Terrorblade running in with the Metamorphosis. Does a lot of damage here. The Invis coming out with the detection there. Xiao Wei gonna survive for now. Gets the one last thing to smash before he gets below dead. He will leap himself away. Needs some heals to help him out here, but False Promise will cover for him for now as he gets brought back to near full HP. NaVi gets drawn out of the Roach Pit.
Very hesitant to fight. They don't really have anything going for them, as Artsel doesn't have the best creeps. Lost his only stun there.
It's still a Ravageless LGD squad. And a Metamorphosis that's about to wear off. And I think LGD realized they've got to make use of this Metamorphosis as fast as they can. Dendy won't get it up, just barely gets the chance to leap at the end there. Out tries to take him down, but won't do so. Ditya on the sides, X'd up without a BKB. Forced up, okay, that's where the Hurricane Pike pays off. There's maybe. He's blocking the high ground, can't actually attack. Then he comes back in. He almost gets the kill, but doesn't quite.
Dire's
Aggressive
top
gets the
tower is
Thunder
under
on maybe, and the Radiance damage kills Dendy. Blinked in for that kill. That's Dendy trying to be that big playmaker, and all of a sudden, William.
That's what we were talking about. Even though NaVi are going to be happy to take that first
Roshan
back,
has
it's the
fallen
second
to
one
the
that really
diamond.
determines where the pace of the game goes. And during that time, LGD, when they repelled that first push, maybe got all that farm.
Yep.
And on top of that, the Terrorblade used so much of the push time to just rack up last hits. Now LGD in our position, yeah, they're down a set of racks, but they're still incredibly happy with the direction of this game, despite how poor their Tidehunter is. The game no longer revolves around him. It's this Alchemist and this Terrorblade, and you realize NaVi, they have no frontliners. They can't run into these heroes.
And it's not the general from last game with a huge amount of farm where it's like, okay, it's fine, we'll just have general who can take out one or even two heroes every single team fight. He's still working on that Necro 3. Still building it up. I mean, they can kind of go into a farm mode here, but Dendy eats up a lot of farm on the map, as does Ditya. So it won't be easy to do so.
In these two teams, they just flash in funny ways. Entertaining games, to say the least, as maybe now completes that Manta. And I think the more Mantas that you start to see NaVi heavily lacking in the disabled department. Bantas are going to pay off.
This is where just probably thinking, okay, I need to go transition into that Ags Mjolnir type build.
I think
deal with all these illusions.
I think he's heavily regretting this choice now.
The BKB.
The Hurricane fight.
Oh yeah,
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
That one for sure.
Radiant
the BKB.
structures are fortified.
Imagine if he had a BKB at that top fight. Oh yeah, would not die.
They didn't even need to go for that push then in there. They had
Radiant's middle
still
tower has
a window
fallen.
before Alk and TV were going to become problems. But it's LGD pushing forward, recognizing that they are now strong with an Aegis in their front line at
How do you
Alchemist.
kill NaVi? What is this game turned into?
We have gone right back the other way.
I'm actually favoring LGD now. Maybe quite heavily
Dire's
actually.
bottom tower is under
GD,
attack.
aggressive, heavy damage to them. Also, Ditya has to pop the BKB just to prevent the X. He can't get much damage though. He can look to go on maybe get the Raw in the north. He's going to be looking for banana. Brought down without getting his spell off the Ravage. Hits too nicely, Dendi. The one they want, but where's the detection? General kept alive by the Invis. Dendi leaps to the low ground and LGD have
Radiant's
lost
middle
two.
tower is
Arrow.
under attack.
Not going to land. The chase
Dire's
is on. They
bottom
know there's no
tower is
Ravage
under
in.
attack.
We saw this last game, that Moonlight Shadow and what it can do. Gotta respect the Invis.
They really have to be more prepped for that. They know the possibility. They really only had one piece of detection on both of their supports combined. It just seems like LGD are almost allergic to grabbing sentries and putting them on the ground with that push. And LGD, they get repelled back.
Kunkka had the sentries on him, but he was the one who died before he could get off like a spell. He didn't even get to use it to Torrent or boat, so that was the big undoing there for LGD.
Still in an okay position though. They didn't really lose anybody too critical. They did lose their two supports, but now Xiaoi's going to finish that mech, and Terrorblade just
Is
continues
he
to go
going Blink, perhaps? He's saving up money. Has actually money for a mech. The buckler is a great item just because it's so much physical damage.
Maybe he just thinks, okay, my game's been pretty ruined.
Well, you can catch NaVi by surprise, try to
You'll
get to
have
the
to
back
do better
line and
than
get the
that.
Oracle as well in the Ravage potentially with the Blink. But yeah, I guess just having a more reliable way to start fights off.
Yeah, maybe gonna run in head first. Really needs that Octarine port before he's a beast.
Yeah, he's close to it, but still needs a bit more. Sending illusions out, NaVi pressing forward, but don't really see them likely attempting a high ground push at this stage, given how the last few team fights went. They're trying to take advantage of the Ravage being down, which is why they want to fight, but pushing high ground as 5 is a whole nother matter to really just straight up team fight.
Ken,
That's the Ag, so
bring
he's
back
got
all his X.
yeah, he's got the nice Granite Golem. Didn't get the Thunderhide, but got the Thunderhide. Didn't get the Black Dragon, but Thunderhide did get some nice buffs over the last few patches. That Frenzy on the teammate, some good bonus attack speed.
It's a vid booster to everybody.
Frenzy is what Hyperstone for heavy you use it on. 75 attack speed. That's value, man. Better than a Hyperstone.
Attack speed aura on it as well. And that underrated slam. Wiggle your body, creep.
The underrated slam. I don't know about that.
It's definitely underrated.
It's like worse than the Thunderclap.
Underrated. It's the radius really that makes it horrible.
Yeah, I thought you were about to sell me on the radius. Like, you're like, it's underrated, it's the radius. Like, wait, are you talking about the same group?
Well, there's a lot of melee heroes, David, for your information.
Okay.
When LGD decided to get up close and personal,
I don't think Kunkka is getting up close. TB wants to metamorph.
you won't be laughing for long.
Look, man, if he hits a multi, if he
hits
hits a multi-hero slam from that Ancient Thunderhide,
Dude, that's a 2-second slow and 50 damage for 250 radius.
jeez, yeah, that's gonna be game changing.
Really, where you start to make the perks happen. That is only 100 range more than Beastmaster's auto attack. Pretty rough.
Well, now Alk, see, God, it's not going to be the Octarine. You go Shivers first. Better fighting item. Does give you a smaller window to fight. You've not got the cooldown reduction, but Oh no, okay, he gets the Shiver's Recipe and then he buys the Soul Booster. Okay, that's one way of building an Octarine core.
It's the roundabout way.
Not the recommended way of doing it, but...
I guess he just values the armor so he can go toe-to-toe with the Drow Ranger, but at the same time, the lowered cooldown...
The recipe doesn't give you armor, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really get it either. I'm just trying to make some...
He's just second-guessed himself, I guess what it is.
He's got buyback. As a result, he still would have it if he had to play well. I don't know.
Hey, this has been a weird series, you know? I mean, these teams have not been playing their best Dota is the other thing. We talked about NaVi not really living up to expectations, and similar for LGD. They do have the standard, of course. But right now, game 2, very tight. The Rax advantage for NaVi, but a late game carry advantage for LGD, and we are kind of in that late game stage, despite it only being 30 minutes. With how fun TB and Alchemist are.
Yeah, art style, just dragging his creeps along, and I think NaVi are a little bit stuck right now, David. I think they're in a position where they're not 100% sure, because if they take a fight and it goes bad, that is like a guaranteed 5k gold for the Alch to just farm in the time period that it takes you to get to the next
bottom
fight.
tower is under attack.
If the game continues like this, we talked about how crucial this Alchemist is, because he is the real focal point of this team. But at the same time, it's not like the TV is a slouch. He's eclipsed the other two top net worth heroes on the side of NaVi, and it's not like NaVi have the best heroes to deal with illusions, Marv, and these constant start.
Good. And he looks ahead, but right now LGD get the chance to start pushing out these lanes a bit. I think NaVi may look to adopt a bit of what they did last game, which is just keep all lanes pushed out, keep LGD back. For now, LGD playing somewhat cautious. Rush has respawned. That's something we've seen NaVi obviously play around, try to push high ground around. This one maybe not as easy to go for. Curious to see what Ditya does go for. I mentioned the transition into the Axe build to help deal with the illusions. So that'll be the pickup, or if he just wants the single target damage.
Book's popped, and Book's going to be picked up on the Dazzle. Looks like they are tending to fight, knowing that the Roche is up. If they can get another Aegis on a maybe, that would allow him to just straight up go for all the items that he wants. And a full Scotty now on this Terrorblade. He's going to be a beast in these fights. NaVi in a position where they have to fight, but any sort of fight just kind of automatically loses in the game if they lose.
So now with Octarine and buyback now, so
yeah.
It's not like you can be like, oh, kill me, just got Octarine. No, he'll have buyback if you over.
No, honestly, this is a really rough position for NaVi to be in, because they know they have to push. If they don't push, then Alch will just continue to do Alchemist things. If they push and they lose that fight, then LGD can almost just secure themselves the win here. So they're gonna go for the Roshan instead, but I think LGD have every intention of testing.
They've got illusions top pushing things out, they've got TB in mid, they smoked up, I believe under creeps, but if anything it's just let's get to the Roshan pit. Chirag can find some Alpha Illusions, scouting things out. Here goes the Blink, Ravage on 3, includes the Nico! He won't get off, he'll get the Incredible for himself, doesn't get it off, and instantly they lose 2. Ditya was sent back to base by the Chen. Fast reaction from Artstar will save his buddy, but it could lose them Roche. Ditya TP's back in, but what's he really keeping into? They can't fight even with Ravage down. LGD will secure Roche, but will have to get themselves back to base right after. Some damage may be dealt. General has a Necro 3 and he's already posturing to go for this top lane. He blinks in, but the TP was preemptively coming. He's been X'd. The torrent there as well. General going to be brought down. And instead the bottom hitting the tier 3. I kind of like the response from NaVi.
Wait, there's a cheese in there. Okay.
Alright, Ditya says thank you very much.
That is...
Everyone had to get out to defend against the split push. So.
Yeah, but did maybe just forget? Deny it at least.
Yeah, that's true. I guess you're thinking you can send a courier or come back for it, but...
Yeah, okay, so now it looks like... Are they going to send the courier? No. Alright, well that's just free cheese for that Drow. And especially with that BKB, it can function as that Aegis that needs, but we're seeing NaVi's true problem right now. They can't sustain, they don't have a frontliner, and they just don't deal enough damage. That Alchemist is about to get 6-slotted.
Dandy, Lincoln Sphere is not going to be the item to solve your damage problems. It will help keep you alive. prevent you from getting initiated on by the X marks the spot, but still gonna be a very tough game for NaVi from here on out.
Yeah, it's the rest of the team that right now struggles to survive. Is we saw how quickly Aggressive takes down those Chen creeps by himself, and
yeah, you have these big X's, you think like it's a huge deal, but a Metamorph TB with 3-4 illusions instantly take out the Granite Golem.
Alright, so Alk, 4,100 gold on him. Now that Shiva's recipe, it's gonna save him time. That's the cool part. 'Cause now it's come full circle.
Oh no, it's on back on the courier though.
Yeah, once it's at the secret shop, never by the secret shop, you can get it in one go. Is forced to pop a BKB. Crucial charges being lost here.
Now Sal doesn't really have an escape plan himself. Maybe we'll chase down the Chen, and I think very likely we see a push come out after this. And fighting into this very
Radiant's
difficult. The
middle
split
tower
push is
is
out.
under attack.
NaVi have recognized. It seems
Radiant's
like their
middle
only way to
tower
win
has
this game
fallen.
is to split push and try and catch LGD without TPs or cancel their TPs when they try to defend and just trade effectively.
Radiant's middle
Dendi wants
tower
creeps
is
on the
under
high ground.
attack.
Unfortunately, there's no creep
Radiant
pushing in the top
structures
lane.
are fortified.
And Octarine Alchemist has a very low cooldown on TP. Just 33 and a bit seconds means he can TP back to defense and TP push as well.
Navi do wave clear very quickly though. That Drow Ranger with the Aghanims actually does wave clear pretty fast, but problem though, still LGD is pretty monstrous to fight against, and now they've had to bring their Beastmaster back for the ensuing fight.
Maybe he's just going to run on high ground and challenge NaVi. Wants him to come out, gets the Manta Style out of the disarm, and Ditya trying to deal with the LGD push, but the damage just isn't really there. LGD just slowly whipping away at this tier 3 tower. Aggressive doesn't have Metamorphosis, so maybe interested in regrouping and not taking a full-out push right now, but NaVi have other interests in mind. They can the arrow, but it's Jiawei. Ravager on 4 not permitting him to lose. Ditya Drow out of the picture without buyback, and that's going to be the signal to charge. Art style. First target they want to go on. Maybe channeling up the stun. Maybe skip to Nico if he can get him, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Chases the Oracle back to the side, and with a couple right clicks, he's trying to bring down the Oracle. The evasion from the Solar Crest helping him out, but NaVi dropping their face very vulnerable here. They've taken out some of the supports of LGD, but the cores, they hold strong, they're still healthy, and as a result, it's going to be LGD doing some significant damage here to the NaVi high ground. Dendi still trying to do what he can as the support of the Chen creep army, but maybe he's healing back up with the Chemical Raid. We'll take out the tier 3 tower. Dendi now being chased around, maybe being kited a bit here by the Moran. If anything, he may just try and focus down the buildings, but without TB in the front lines as well, decides it's time to back
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
They can happily reset after that. They got a fair amount of kills. They pushed NaVi back. They got that tier 3 tower most importantly, and they just continue to snowball as NaVi. The good news for them though is that Dendi is really annoying for LGD to take down.
Yeah. They actually, their control lockdown, I mean, it could be the X Torrent, but we're seeing Banana die very early in these fights, and you've got to deal with the Lincolns too. So
Dendi's trying to will his way to a victory, and it does seem a little bit unlikely because this Alchemist.
then you can get big enough. He gets like the E-Blade and the Dagon. You start looking at some good late game potential out of this Mirana.
Yeah, but wait for this Alch to give everybody on his team an Ags.
Yeah.
Except the Terrorblade. Well, 10 all stats is okay. It's like
Did you see the outgame earlier with TNC?
Huh?
He pulled all of his teammate didn't even have Ags upgrade, and he pulled them all an Ags upgrade before he even pulled himself an Ags upgrade. He was pulling like his Slardar and Ags before himself.
He might as well multi-orb for your entire team.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It was just funny because he gave them the Ags before himself. Like he was the most selfless alchemist I've ever seen.
What a boss.
That was pretty good. That was the LGD. Well, probably having flashbacks to that game and like, yeah, we can go late game with Ags. That's what TNC did to us.
The Ags are kind of okay on LGD side.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see the Kunkka one more than...
We had a Kunkka Ags in that game and it didn't really notice. It's pretty crap from all I could see and from what I've seen in the past. But
Gold for my
well,
chest.
you can
the
still
weave
BKB during it is the
The
thing.
weave is something.
Yeah. I like that. it covers like the whole screen, that circle.
Yeah, that's
It's
pretty cool.
ridiculously big.
It's already pretty massive.
And then you get the extra armor per second. It's a almost 50% increase in how much armor you're getting.
It might actually be the Tide one that's the most effective. AoE Gush.
Yeah.
Double damage.
Downside
I think
though,
Dazzle's like close second, but yeah, Tide is pretty good.
I just want to see the Kunkka one because I haven't seen it before.
Wish fulfilled.
Maybe dangerously getting to that territory though where I'm gonna have to start being friend his team needs. Everybody line up.
Then
Who does
see
he
about
value
that.
the most?
He can replace his armlet still will. The moon shard, replace the armlet. Probably holding
Selflessness.
it.
Remember we saw the other day. Selflessness is how you win Dota.
I agree on that. Oh, Dandy. They got the tech
Radiant's
from...
top tower
Is
is
on the
under
Tide,
attack.
but not going to catch him. And General is just positioned to split push. He's got a glyph that he can
Dyer's
force out
bottom
here,
tower
and
is under attack.
very likely will do
Dyer's
so.
structures
They glyph
are
it, but it's in
fortified.
16 HP, so power maybe taken out
Dyer's
by the boar.
bottom tower
Oh, he does
has
get
Hero
a
fallen.
boar.
It's pretty big.
Oh, he's staying there. Doesn't have necrobooks for some time, but he wants to be in position to make the same play.
I mean, what else is he gonna do at this point?
And this is the game right now. At least the next like 10-15 minutes of this game, I feel for NaVi is just push from Dendy, split push from General.
Yeah, this has become your life, Navi. We saw it yesterday in DC versus MVP. The
With
DC finally did
the
whittle them
resolution game. Yeah.
down. Yeah, they don't have a morph. They would love a morph right now,
Yeah.
but they will take a Beastmaster.
Top lane, out, getting very close to catching out Nico. Doesn't quite get in range of the stun. Jowait, what's the play? Nothing to go for it.
That did save maybe though. His stun hitting himself.
Yeah.
Because the arrow was on its way in. Alright, first axe has been purchased. Is it 2? To himself! Son of a... There's so many better axe heroes! To eat moon shards! What's wrong with it? Isn't moon shards better to eat at least? If you were gonna just put it on yourself.
Wait, I'm sure he's like, he's telling his team, oh, I misclicked, guys.
Whoops.
It's like the, you lose mid, like you get solo queued, like, I lagged. What happened?
What did I just watch? I was frantically clicking all the heroes. Maybe. Not okay.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
The thing is, all of his teammates minus the TV have an axe upgrade.
Yeah. And some of them not so great, but yeah, they're not game-winning acts, but they're upgrades.
Even giving it to the TV. TV thrives on stats,
Yes.
resolutions.
Alright, TB is better than Alk with those stats. Nico. Trouble. Whoa, okay. Maybe. Getting outplayed here. Was a Ravage coming out from Jowait. That was on General up to the side. Meanwhile, Nico completely juked maybe stun. There we go. General. Got out.
That is now 3 times in a row maybe have stunned himself. That is Dota telling him something.
Yep. BKB at mid feature rise. Barely gonna make it out.
I think if... maybe not. Alright, well, now they're kind of pushing all the lanes. Xiaowei doesn't have that Ravage available. Navi, of course, cannot exploit that. They're in a game where they pretty much just have to play split push Dota.
Yep.
And they are going to run into Dendy here. Link is going to get popped. No sort of follow-up, though, as he's just going to TP to freedom.
Then he's got the E-Blade. Next step, I can only imagine it's going to be the Dagon build. And then it's no longer just a split push game, it's also kind of a pick-off game where you can use that burst damage to try find kills. Although it's only really the Beastmaster and Miranda who can find kills. The other 3 heroes... I mean, the other 3 heroes just aren't really playing Dota anymore. Like, there's so little they can do. If you're a Chen, you sit behind your core trying to send them back and save them if needed, but here come LGD ready to push.
Radiant's
Looking like a lane of rack ready to be claimed. Beastmaster will now respawn, maybe in the front line. Doesn't have aces anymore. Need to be a little bit careful, but Rack has been claimed to heal. Bounce his way in to clear some illusions, but
They didn't even
got
have
where they
Ravage
came
for
from.
this fight.
Really,
LGD kind of just went ahead and did that.
it was the Axe stats that made the difference, really. There.
It really did.
I think without those stats, I think NaVi would have had the burst damage to bring him down.
Did see him get all the way down to 1800 health.
Double deity.
Right, he's got another one coming up. Just give it to Ty.
What happens if you try to eat a second one? Does it let you eat it and then it just disappears? Or it probably just won't let you eat it.
Maybe.
Dendy. Oh, Dendy caught. The horrible lambda both will not leaps out just in time. Aggressive meatball likely will be forced to sunder here. Doesn't have metamorphosis. This is the time indeed for NaVi to fight. But it's quickly gone astray as they just don't have the damage to take down LGD. Chen creeps, making a journey towards top lane. This is the backdoor party now.
Wish fulfilled.
What does this game become?
And art style was certainly dead. They just kept beating on him because they couldn't find
Dire's
anybody
top
else.
tower is
The
under
Oracle
attack.
team was on him. It must have slapped
Radiant's
him like
bottom
30
tower
times.
is under
Yeah.
attack.
It was way more than enough, but
I feel like he just wants to use his creeps to split push at this point.
yeah. They don't provide a purpose in teamfights anymore.
Yeah. They just die too fast to TB. Yeah, the HP from the Grand Golem is nice, but it could definitely change something. You know, it's like everyone having Acceptor stats or something, but
Yeah.
it's not going to win you a fight.
He fought something for somebody.
Oh, Alchemist.
Invisibility.
Acceptor, or maybe. Maybe it was just punching team. It's like, I've got an axe, someone come get it, and no one came to him. You're an out, you have to go to your teammates. Like, no, not about that life.
He does. It's on the courier now. Right. But he didn't buy moon shards. I thought he was. I would have laughed so hard if he just bought moon shards himself.
That
That
would've
would've
away
been
by
next level.
Dendy.
Oh.
Oh
Is it
no.
though?
Dendy didn't have the Lincoln Sphere, it was broken, but the Roar and Banana prevented the torrent timing, and
Mega kill!
General will throw away his life to save Dendy.
That was very well done though by General.
Yeah.
Without that, Dendy surely would have gone down. That's a pretty big death for
Bottom lane, meanwhile, Ditya fighting with aggressive. Oh, that Hurricane Pike. Did he just use on an illusion? I think so.
Bishop did pop this BKB. Wants to continue to chase.
Really wants to find Joe, but doesn't look like he'll guess right as far as where Ditya is running to. He's just still with that cheese from before, by the way.
Alright, so MMY has the courier flying over his head repeatedly. The sign.
Out.
Yes.
Alright.
Here we go. The 10,000 weave AoE.
Oh.
You can't miss the spell now. It's gonna hit everything.
I'm hovering over it, and you can't even see the circle lines like when you're centered on the dazzle.
Radiant's bottom tower
Bigger
is
than
under
the
attack.
screen.
It is significantly bigger than the screen. Main reason for that is that you can catch your teammates and the enemy team, which is pretty rare to do with Weave.
Radiant's
looks like
bottom
LGD.
tower has fallen.
Are just gonna push in this mid wave. You got to make sure that NaVi don't have any avenue to go for the split push.
Wait, that circle's actually the
they
cast range.
Pop
Whoa.
the Ravage.
Thinking.
Not gonna hit his. He's just gonna be incredibly happy with that trade.
So Ditya now looking for some illusion clear. Has the Maelstrom, likely upgraded next. NaVi have got to be kicking themselves considering how well positioned they were 15 minutes in this game. Now they find themselves struggling.
It was that one push at top. They are gonna regret that push for a long time coming. It wasn't even the fact that they did it was the execution of it. Because they were in a good spot. The Alk hadn't TP'd yet. Remember how far away he was? They initially went for that push. It looked like all the circumstances were going to work out in their favor. NaVi, they were going to smoke, knowing that there is no Ravage available, and finally going to try to take it to them, or maybe they just go in for the Roche.
Yeah, it's not like a game changer, but it's at least a small little boost to their overall team fight.
They're really going to get spotted out though.
You know, there's no Ravage, but I think LGD, even a Ravageless LGD, could try and take this fight.
NaVi have finally got
Sean has fallen to the Radiant.
I just think they're scared of the Aegis is the thing. I will pass over the cheese and take the Aegis. Cheese going to art style. And already the split push is coming out. Dendy TP's up top. You think, I'm going to talk about the Dagger like it's maybe going to be the item for Dendy. Do you think there's any consideration towards actual like DPS split push type items, or do you just need the kill, the damage?
With the Ags, you're pretty heavily committed.
Okay.
Like, all your items right now on Dendy are purely magic / survivability. None of them are centered around physical team fight. He would have to change pretty much every single item, bar the boots of travel and maybe the Lincolns. Because if you don't have the Ags anymore, because you don't really deal physical damage, then you no longer need the F-Blade or the Blink Dagger. You have to go like Butterfly, MKB, Daedalus, but that would be way too hard of a tech switch.
I'm saying maybe swap things out, gets the Scythe of Vice now for himself, or about to. We saw this early today as well with TNC and the Alchemist. You want that extra lockdown, and you've got the short cooldown from the Octarine.
LGD have learned a lot from TNC, it seems like.
Yeah. This is such a repeat of that game with the TNC it was the exact same thing. LGD were 5-manning, crushing, they took a lane of Rax early. It wasn't a Drow strat, they actually did it with like a Tide Morphling, but just early push, and TNC just held high ground with Alchemist and Terrorblade. What do you know? And now we find ourselves with LGD versing the cards, and they are looking good.
This is a game that NaVi can't afford to lose either, just for points alone.
Yeah, this would be 7 losses then. 3 wins, 7 losses, and that's with 14 games total. So best case scenario is a 7-7 score, which could get you top 4, but those last 4 games are against some stiff competition. Dendi, they see him, they also see General, they're looking for both here. The stun will follow Dendi. Looks like he actually used the Hex accidentally on the Linkers, but they do follow him post-blink. Now Dendi on the run has a leap in 8 seconds, but does not have a way out of the X, loses the courier.
Did
LGD.
Spike kill it. And
now
Ditya force stabs himself in.
Now can't force stab himself out though. May have an escape though, as the Oracle behind him as well as Chen nearby. Actually also does some good damage, but it's gonna take here like high on a banana there and slow as well. Maybe the grave in just a second, but it's on cooldown. Ditya with the BKB, gonna take out one, gonna take out a second. Ditya looking good here, but now he's been hexed up with Zhao Wei switching back in. Suddenly the tide's turned. Ditya with the Aegis, the setback will keep him alive. Pop the Aegis, he likely dies twice there.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Keeping themselves in this game.
Top tower has been
Doing
denied.
a tiny little bit of structural damage. This is where Ditya is finally actually scary again. Like, he was scary the first 15 minutes, and then he spent the last half an hour being a non-factor. Now he's finally re-entered the arena.
Good news for him is that everybody from LGD wasn't 100% gathered up. There was no Ravage either on their side. And they knocked so much HP off of Zhao 8 that he couldn't re-engage. And NaVi trying to bring it back. They're doing an okay job of that so far. They just need a little bit more though, as this Alchemist is probably going to buy Moon Shards for himself.
Dude, I don't how does Artstyle outform the Beastmaster as Chen? How do you do this? What's up with this guy? He's an AC in 2.4k.
Are you surprised, man?
I'm not. I'm surprised because it's a Chen. You know, like some heroes, your Dazzle. Like, yeah, I can see how a hero like Dazzle can farm and push. I guess Chen, you just do it with your creeps and in the jungle and you push lanes with them. But
dude, you saw Ditya just farm the enemy camps. His Wild Wing Rippers.
Yeah.
Never doubt this man.
Yeah. Oh. Things are still looking very tough for Natus Vincer. There we go. Dendy's picked up the Dagon one. Just upgrading that, holding on to buyback money, I imagine.
It's still kind of okay though. NaVi is not out of it quite yet. Their supports are getting, like you said, a very good amount of farm. That's going to make quite a difference against. You force aggressive into a position where he has to buy an MKB even though he doesn't really want to.
And NaVi is still building up in terms of items. There's a refresher that'll come out on Beastmaster. Guy will have an MKB to help deal with the Radiance. There's items that they are building up to have a stronger and doable late game. Like your Alchemist is actually maybe going to struggle to go toe-to-toe Ditya once he has an MKB.
Yeah, I think NaVi is swinging back the
yeah,
the series is just a pendulum.
If anything, it felt like LGD should have been able to, like, they hit their power spike 5-10 minutes ago, and they haven't capitalized on it. They got the one little lane of Rax, but felt like, oh, we got mid lane of Rax, game's over, let's just pull back, pull some Ag Scepters, you know, let's just Ag Scepter and chill. Like, yeah. Find art style here. Again, that's not really too big a deal though for NaVi. But yeah, they're just too laid back, too complacent in the fact that like, oh, we've got the better quote-unquote late game.
Moonshard's now eaten by this Alchemist. Good news for him though is that he still has Ags to give out.
You're gonna see that Kunk Ag still.
Yeah, Oprah himself. Got a lot of room to grow.
Yeah. I'd imagine next one's coming soon. He's already up to 7k gold again.
All the net worth concentrated on these top 2 heroes from LGD, and like you said, they might have missed their timing windows. NaVi they have a lot of farm on all their heroes. That AC is gonna kind of pay off on this Chen. Yeah. And now there's an MKB, like you said.
It is net worth you can redistribute by pulling Tide and Ags, pulling Kunk and Ags, but these are not heroes that... I mean, the Tide I think does scale quite well, but Kunkka, Dazzle, these heroes kind of have reached their peak. They don't get scarier necessarily, unless you're talking about getting big items of their own outside of, like, if Kunkka can transition into a DPS build, but that's not the case. He's not in that.
They are never going to get farmed.
No.
There's an Alchemist.
Yeah.
The prize is mine.
If you could actually literally pull items, then yeah, right now the play would be for maybe to this Kunkka DPS items, turn him into a carry bet. That is just not a possibility.
He has more than enough money now for my back.
Oh, the vision from the ward. General's been caught out. Nice catch coming from LGD.
NaVi got to pull back here.
Yep.
Can't afford to get caught out like this, and teams are going to be successful. Dire Courier gets killed by Dendi.
Deja vu from 5 minutes ago.
Dude, that's annoying. For maybe
wants to pull acceptors.
Yeah. 10k gold, man. Give your team some mags. Cool about it. We start to slowly transition into the ultra late game. 60 minutes coming up as LGD are trying to push back all the lanes, but NaVi are doing a good job of just extending their lifeline here.
Exactly. You hold on and it's like this anything can happen kind of mentality. You feel like you're in a stalemate, your opponents can't really push, you don't know at some point if they're going to get impatient. It's LGD, they don't get impatient, but they also can't just sit here forever.
Sure they can.
Yeah, that's true. I've seen LGD play. I mean,
they've done it for an hour.
Yeah. What's 1 hour more? It is also your last game of the day, so
why
over to Group B?
Why risk it? This is the way that they feel like they can win the game. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And okay, now all 3 lanes relatively pushed out. Banana's gonna try to meet his team in this bottom half.
It's more at this point for LGD. It comes down to strategy, not. Like, as in, they've got all the items. Like, if you're staying in the game longer, there's no, like, we're not staying in the game to farm more. It's like you're staying in the game to develop, like, some kind of strategy and way to win the game. You've got all the pieces of the puzzle.
That Drow Axe just... Oh. Okay, with the War Drums aura from the Lizard and that Frenzy.
Yeah,
he is...
Nice. Hurricane Pike. And the Oracle plus Chen behind this Drow. I mean, there's a lot of protection for Ditya. Getting the Solar Crest now. The front lines, they try going the Kunkka, who uses the Yules to help keep himself alive.
He comes through this way too fast right now for LGD. Like, Ditya
he's over the hump. He had that ineffective BT and the Raw coming in from behind. The double Raw. Oh no, Zhao Wei, he wanted to get it off before he died. He will manage to take out the Beastmaster and doesn't actually end up going down. Aggressive now with the Metamorphosis. BKB charges forward. Watch the knee go. The X will pull it back if he tries to get away. And NaVi is fully healthy. Once Teacher Ra taking away the Master and getting up close. Aggressive down and out. That's the worry. The Alchemist maybe. Watch them drown. Oh no, get it. The Hurricane Pike pushback. We down in the item world. We will eat our humble pie.
NaVi Dota! He had 64 HP. He manages to force not just out of the outrange, but the Ascent as well.
You know, Hurricane Pike, come back to it, try to craft the item 60 minutes in. Amazing items here, 57 minutes in.
Ditya run. Absolute beast. NaVi played the fight so perfectly. General just forced the inopportune Ravage from Xiao. You'd imagine if they had the Ravage in that situation, there's no way that LGD loses 5 foot.
The Terrorblade is melted with all the
I didn't even see him die.
I think it must have been Dendi or something. I didn't see him die either. It's got to have been Dendi.
Alright, so there's the Ravage. It only hits on Dendi, but they all
Dire's
ignore
bottom
him.
barracks are under
Both
attack.
just kind
He
of
doesn't get Thunder off,
Dire's
I'm guessing. Is this
structures are fortified.
EKBs? Okay. We may have to come back into the game though as NaVi are going for a high ground push here. Jiaowei,
Dire's top
buy back the
tower
plenty,
is
the
under
Terrorblades
attack.
are tied, they
Dire's
want to
top
fight
tower
Dendi.
is fallen.
Top lane.
Oh, they've got
There's
no
no
split
blip
push to
available.
worry about. It's at least
Dire's
one
top
melee rack
barracks
going down, possibly more. And the pressure can quickly come back in. Bottom aggressive, already popped his BKB, and Dendi again, he's already in this bottom lane. The split push is proving very problematic.
over the cliff.
Dire's
Oh, he
bottom
may pay for this with his
has
life though.
They're gonna get the rat attack.
Dire's
They're gonna get
turret
Matrix.
has been killed.
Rose cracks his top lane, just the one remaining bottom, and Negative, he plays Jiaowei, it's a dieback. Arrow goes flying through, doesn't land on anyone, and NaVi, have they done it? 59 minutes in.
I cannot believe that LGD lost this game. If they lose this game, there's still ags to give onto LGD.
It's
that
not
maybe
ags that are
not
going to
utilized.
help though. I don't see those ags giving you what you need.
NaVi have delayed this game so long that their lineup strength has just swung back in a circle because there was a time period where LGD could not lose a team fight if they just fall up.
And that's the nature of the Terrorblade. He's at 35 to like 45 minutes in, he's sure it's a 6 slotted, and nobody can fight them. But if the game drags 15-20 minutes and your opponents are farming during that time,
Dude,
suddenly they get 6 slotted.
This game is messing with every perception I have of Dota right now. Drow has got 11k gold, 5 moon shards for. I think he might have forgotten about them.
All I can say is the
Even care. Oh, we were joking, but now this Chen has a hex.
X, yeah, no problem.
Okay, Ditya, buy your moon shards. Alright, he doesn't really care.
I mean, the old savage wisdom of Drow strats needing to win games by 30 minutes or lose is definitely being shattered over the not just this game, but many games later we've been seeing these lineups go late game with this new axe build. MMY won't get the grave off. He's been hexed. He goes down. Like the Oracle with the full promise. Will that be enough to save? Find out soon enough. Aggressive. Brought up. There's the Ravage. He can get pushed back. He needs to stun the target. The Grave will have Matt. He's been brought again. Aggressive. And his thunder is going to be pushed. He goes down. Kill and it's the throw of LGD. Oh boy.
LGD, this is the
over.
worst possible way they could have gotten 2-0 in this series. They could have made a very good case to win both games, and instead they walk away. No wins here, and this has to be such a disappointment for them as NaVi breathe a sigh of relief. It took them a while. They
got
delayed
4-0.
and delayed. Look at General, he is beaming ear to ear. NaVi is now relaxed a little bit, and they go in tomorrow with much more motivation.
I mean, for LGD, those faces say it all.
Yeah, I think Aggressive is saying